What's up? This is Rahsaan Patterson. You're checking out YouKnowIGotSoul.com.
Alright, Rahsaan, so let's talk about your new album, Bluephoria. First off, how did you decide on that title for the album?
The title came to me like 2006, 7.
Yeah.
Long before I started working on the music for the album. And from the time it came to me, I was trying to figure out what it was and why it came. So from the point when it revealed itself to me, I had to go on a journey of trying to figure out what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
And ultimately it is several things. One being the bliss and euphoric state one finds as a result of love. Falling in it, discovering oneself in it, the revelations that come from it, and then the other definition is, after the pursuit of truth and love and spirituality and God, that place that ultimately I believe is our intent as human beings to strive for.
Yeah.
That state would be, blissful and euphoric. When we're all on one accord and spiritually in tune with one another, what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
That's a lot, but
yeah. That's cool. Talk about the sound on this album. I heard the first song you released from it, Easier Said Than Done, had a bit like a futuristic, almost like techno-ish vibe to it. So
yeah. That was the goal for this record too, because Wines and Spirits kind of scratched the surface of that with songs like Deliver Me and Delirium a little bit, Pitch Black.
Yeah.
Production-wise, sonically, they were elevating me to the space, which then became The Ultimate Gift, which was the Holiday album, where that whole piece was celestial.
Yeah.
And that led to Bluephoria.
Okay. Talk about the single, 6 a.m. Lalah Hathaway's on there. How'd that come together, that collaboration? And tell me some background about the song.
Her and I are dear friends, and whenever we are creating and working, we have an open invitation for each other to come through, be a part of. And I was in the studio working one day on that particular song, and she called me. I was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm in the studio." She was like, "Okay, I'm coming over." She came over, and she started filming on my what's that little flip camera, and that was the first and beginning episode of our online show, the Lalah and Ross show.
Okay.
So people can get an idea of that process and how the song developed from watching that first episode.
Yeah.
And the song, lyrically, it expresses, that point after a relationship's been troubled a bit, and then you come back around and shit is feeling like, okay, it's okay, we're better now. You know what I mean? So lyrically, if people listen, they will hear that it begins after some shit has gone down, and this shit is like, okay, it feels good again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Like I mentioned, I haven't heard the album yet, but I saw the track list and I saw a song with Faith Evans on there. So I'm excited to hear about that collaboration. How did that one come together?
That came together. Faith and I have seen each other over the years in the industry in LA, and both have mutual respect for one another's gift. Real cool people, you know what I mean? And when I was coming up with the tracks for this album, for that particular song, Crazy, I kept hearing her voice in the chorus. So I'm like, damn, she gotta be on this. So, oddly enough, she was looking for me at the same time I was looking for her.
Yeah.
Because she wanted me to sing on her record.
That's crazy.
And I didn't end up singing on her record. And so I just thought it was pretty cool that, we were in the same space at the same time, looking for each other for the same reason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm honored, to have her sing on my shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honored to have Lalah on it. Shanice, Jody, Wiley, Tata Vega, Andre Crouch, it all is manifested naturally. It's a stellar cast of icons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And you also have a cover of a Frank Sinatra song on there as well?
Well, yeah, I have, I did the song I Only Have Eyes for You, but my favorite version is by the Flamingos.
Oh, okay.
And
how do you decide on to cover that song?
well, what's interesting is that when I was in the studio working on the track, it wasn't for that song. I was just working on a track to come up with a new song. So I was working on the track, trying to come up with a song on top of it, and trying to come up with different melodies and stuff. But the only melody that would ever come to me was the melody from I Only Have Eyes for You. The first verse, I kept hearing it. So after like 5 tries of trying to write a song other than that one, I just decided to cover it because I felt like something was telling me to do it.
Yeah, cool. I love to hear the creative process of how songs come together and how different artists, because I've talked to a lot of writers and got their take on how they start, get into a song and create it from start to finish. Take me through yours.
If I'm collaborating with somebody, sometimes, I'll go into the studio, and if I'm working with Jamie Jazz, who I worked with on Ghost and several other songs on this record, we'll go into the studio, he'll just start playing something,
Yeah.
and then I'll be like, ooh, that's good, let's do that, you know what I mean, and then we'll build it from there. Or I'll come in with an idea, some chords, and I'll say, what you think of that? And then he'll be like, okay, and then we go from there.
Yeah.
But if I'm in the studio by myself, I'll just go in there and I'll start fiddling around, hearing bass lines and drum sounds and beats in my head, and I'll just start there and then build from there.
Okay.
Then the lyrics come.
Yeah.
Then the melody and lyrics come at the same time. And once I have like a beat and some chords or a beat and bass line, I hear melody and lyric, and then the story starts to reveal itself.
All right, cool. Your albums through the years have always had favorable, reviews, and critics have loved them. Yet it seems like the mainstream hasn't always picked up and, got into them. Why do you feel that's the case?
I think years ago when I first released my first 2 albums, during the time when there was Maxwell and D'Angelo and Eric Benet and Kenny Lattimore, there were a lot of us, you know what I mean? And at that time, the 2 biggest were Maxwell and D'Angelo. And then under that tier was Eric Benet and Kenny Lattimore, and then myself, really. And at that time, it was just a lot to focus on for people. You know what I'm saying? And Maxwell had the big afro and the sex appeal and all that going on. D'Angelo had his thizzle going on.
Yeah.
And then I was over in my little corner doing my thing, which was, a little bit off center.
Yeah.
So it was then and always kind of will be off center. And for those who can go over there, can go over there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, it's a matter of positioning myself to go further into the mainstream area with my off-centered shit. You know what I mean? Which is actually quite centered.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. As an independent artist, talk about the struggles and trying to make it, just keep doing what you do in this music industry.
Well, I'm fortunate in that, and blessed that I've been able to still have financial backing, you know what I'm saying, as an independent artist, and be signed to an independent label that does have, somewhat of the finances to get me to radio, you know what I'm saying, and that's a major factor in being able to have a presence for people, you know what I mean, who listen to the radio and who watch videos and stuff. So I'm grateful for that, and I know that is it can be difficult when you don't have the monetary means to support and get your music to certain places. So the radio part has always been the most difficult part for me, even when I was on a major label. You know what I mean? Because it's always about having to combat what is being fed mainstream, and if you're not doing that, it's it's not always easily accepted and easily played. You know what I'm saying? Programmed. So, you know, it's getting a little better, and I'm fortunate too because there have been stations across the nation who do, you know, give me a spin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful for that.
Cool. You mentioned all the great collaborations you have on this album, and I was wondering, is there a dream collaboration you'd like in the future that you haven't been able to get yet?
Yeah, Whitney Houston and Sade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why would you pick those?
Huh?
Why would you pick those?
Because they're icons and legendary in my eyes, and I love their gifts, and they're really strong personalities, spirits, and I would just like to be able to mingle and create with them.
Cool. You know, for a person like yourself in the public eye, you know, do you think that openly admitting, you know, sexual orientation can have an effect and hinder one's career just due to public scrutiny and things like that?
Right. I think that it can. I think it has in the past, and I believe it has been one of the main reasons why you have tons of people who, you know, are perceived as being straight, and in all actuality, they are far from it.
Yeah.
But on one side, you know, it's not about someone's sexuality; it's about their art, which is who they are. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I believe, in some aspects, you know, people's inability to just accept any and everyone, regardless of sexuality or religion or any of those things, that keeps us hindered in that way.
Yeah.
You know? But there are a lot of people who may not agree with it, but can still support someone's music and their gift and their creativity.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm just grateful and continuing to be on my path, you know, and have the support that I get from everybody who does support it. You know, I'm not trying to like bash nobody over the head to make them like me or do what I want them to do.
Yeah.
It's like you either feel it or you don't.
Yeah.
And if you don't, that's cool too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Good answer. Anything you'd like to add? I have no other questions for you.
Just thank you.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Just where can people check you out? You know, Facebook, Twitter, all that.
Twitter, yeah. I'm following you on Twitter, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. My Twitter is my name is too long.
Yeah.
My name is too long with the number 2.
Yeah.
So you can catch me over there, or Facebook, of course, Rahsaan Patterson, or Rahsaan.com, RAHSAN.com.
Actually, quickly, how did you choose that Twitter name? I've always been curious.
My name doesn't fit.
Yeah.
My name won't fit into the thing, you know, because I have I'm one letter too long. You know what I mean? So when I try to, and I've tried to abbreviate it and come up with stuff, but it doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Rahsaan P and all that. No.
Yeah.
But the first thing I could think of, my name is too long. It won't fit.
Nah, that's cool.
But people always think it's some other shit.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
All right, cool.